Audrey, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kevin. I'm a big fan of yours now.
I got a little trigger happy there and cut you off. I apologize. Yeah. You were
Be the
trying to
first time.
compliment me and I was like, going to the logo. Can't stop it now.
Guess you're
Uh
modest.
great to meet you and connect. I had a chance to watch Bent that we're going to talk about today. This is a dark short film. There's some heavy subject matter in here. Can you tell our audience in your own words what Bent is about?
Bent is a slice in this cop's life where she goes from being a legit cop to being a dirty cop. So I think it's an interesting,
I
you know,
remember, I remember there's a movie I was fascinated with. I haven't seen it in years. Jennifer Jason Leigh and Jason Patrick, Rush, about cops that become they're undercover heroin addicts that become addicts themselves. I think it was based on a true story, and that
uh,
was a very like intimate look at this dark. It kind of reminded me of something in that vein, no pun intended. So that dirty cop is played by you.
me, yes. And
Yes.
I kind of wormed my way into the production. I don't know if you
Okay.
want it, but I Chris Esper
Mm-hmm.
is the actor, and we were at a film festival one night, and he told me, our mutual friend Chris Salvi, who wrote the script,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I just read this script that Chris wrote, and it's really good. And I thought, well, I want in on that if it's a good script. And Chris Salvi, the writer, who also plays Earl Duke, the guy who interrogates me, or my character, um, shortly thereafter, he said, I got the script. Will you take a look at it? And I was thinking he was just sharing it with me for feedback. Like I wasn't thinking that he wanted me to act in it. And I was like, oh yeah. So I got to read it. I loved it. And then I thought, I want that role so bad. I want it. I want it. I want it. And I don't know if I overstepped my bounds, but I put an audition on tape and sent it to them. They didn't ask me.
Listen, nothing beats a proactive hustle. There are stories of major like Hollywood stars doing that sort of thing. I am a big fan. My friend Ryan Richardson has a philosophy that he's outlining into a book called "Just Walk In," and I've used it my whole life. If there's one door stopping me from like an opportunity to meet somebody or a dream, I don't have a pass, a ticket. I'm getting in that door. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to break any laws, but I am certainly sneaking past somebody to make it happen. So you have applied the just walk in philosophy. And I think not only is that a way for people to see your talents if they hadn't thought of you for the role, even though you're friends with them, it also just shows a level of sort of energy and excitement that you have for the character. And I
Yeah.
think for filmmakers, half the battle is just finding people that we believe are going to be real sort of like soldiers in the trench, so to speak, that are going to show up every day and do their best work. And often part of casting is exactly that, people who want to be passionate about it. So they
Right.
saw your tape, they recognized that and said, nope, she can 100% do this role. And you're fantastic in it because there's so many layers. How do it's such there's a lot of real life issues with the police and corruption in the police and bad behavior of police officers in our real world. How do you go about researching a role like this? I'm assuming you didn't go through police academy and have a background in policing. Where do you start?
Oh, now, now I think you're going to expose my cracks. Um,
It's also
I
okay to just say I read the script and I did the best I can do. That's the uh,
Yeah, I mean, Chris, Chris with the K, the
mm-hmm.
one who he seemed to do a lot of research and he filled me in about a lot of stuff. Also, they had a real cop on set
Oh
who taught
wow.
me to hold the gun when the opening scene is they're raiding, they're doing a drug bust,
Mm-hmm.
and that was enormously helpful. But Chris Salvi with a K, the writer, seemed to know a lot about the judicial system, and I'm not going to ask him how he knows.
I mean, they say write what you know. That's all. That we'll just leave it at that, and then he can explain himself another time. I think so. Are you familiar with playing dark characters? I've seen some of your comedic work. So, was this in your wheelhouse, or was this something that you had to kind of dig deep for?
Yeah, I was all comedy before this, and I think Chris Salvi was telling me when he was trying to get the script produced
Hmm.
that he knew other directors, and they didn't. I guess he wanted me in the role. I don't know, but he said those directors didn't want me in the role. They wanted somebody much younger and blonde, and that kind of thing. And for some reason, I guess he wanted me. I don't know why, but I was all comedy before then. And I guess that's also why I felt like I should put myself on tape for this so they could, see what I could do.
See it, yeah. Often that's the thing, right? You get typecast as an actor or a creator, like, oh, this is the genre you do. I guess that's who you are. And sometimes it is that seeing is believing, mentality. Unfortunately, but you went the distance and did that. I think. I mean, has this opened the door? Is this something you're excited to pursue more sort of drama and gritty stories like this in the future?
I want anything that's good.
Good material. Yeah.
I'm down for anything. I've, written my own scripts and produced some of my own.
Hmm.
When I do that, it's always comedy. That's what pours out of me. Uh, Chris Salvi, the writer, producer, actor,
Yeah.
he has a very much of a crime cop gangster focus, um, and he writes really compelling stories. I just love how he sets up a situation where there's a conflict and you're thinking, how are they going to get out of this, or what's this going to reveal about the character? So I'm
I,
just very happy to be in that group of people. I filmed with them this past weekend. I haven't seen them
okay.
COVID, so I was just
I mean, what an exciting time that we get to come back and start creating again. I've been sort of jonesing to get out of this chair and go make some more movies, but it's finally. I'm here in Canada right now. We've been a little bit behind and opening up and getting people vaccinated, but it's close. And yeah, it's been a difficult time. I think, but as creators, sometimes a good reset, a good time to like really think about the directions we want to take our careers is also helpful. And COVID sort of forced that on all of us. I do have I'm going to cheekily phrase all of this. I have a burning question, which I will preference for the audience. I am not being inappropriate by asking this. Will we see your penis on Reveal at some point?
you mean the actual short? You host
Yes, the short film. Yes. Yeah.
the short penis?
So since there was a reaction there, Audrey is involved in a short film called Penis, and it's worth everybody's watch. And I hope that the Reveal audience gets to enjoy that comedy.
Yeah, I'd love to have it on there. Yeah, that'd be great.
You should submit it. That made me laugh, and that it was such a perfect contrast to watch that film and this film, nearly back to back, to see the range of your brain as a creator and your talent as an actor. Because I light and day the stories of those two movies.
Thank you. And I would love to give a shout out to my co-star in
In
bed
bed, yeah. Mhm.
in Thibault, Thibault, who played my cop partner, former love interest, dirty cop. There's a scene where he's choking me out. It's not a sex scene. And I just can't, I still to this day, I can't fathom the way he handled it. He had his hands around my neck and he took me from a standing position to all the way down on the ground. And I wasn't the least bit uncomfortable. And he was acting his ass off while he did it. The character was completely enraged. And I think his performance is amazing, and
It's
having
all
been,
it's all about trust, right? That's good chemistry in a movie, and that's and also kudos to the directors, the producers of casting. They always say that directing is 80% casting. Once you've cast the right people, but it is true. Like you can say this person's great for a role, and this person's great for the role opposite them, but it's got to work. And in scenes like that, where you're doing physical work or any sort of attack scene or fight scene, there has to be absolute comfort, absolute preparation of how to execute it well. Because I'm sure when somebody's that enraged, that only should heighten even though you feel comfortable doing it, it just being in that with somebody, that's got to only benefit your reaction.
yeah, and I had to act like I was joking because
Yeah,
I not even a tiny bit. It was
that's
not.
good.
I
And
could
then
have just.
some extra ADR in there to sell it and to make it all glued together perfectly. I really love the sort of the visual tone and the music and everything in this film. It really adds to the character. You know, are you surprised when you see, you're on set, you see it, you know what it's like with the lights, but you can't hear the sort of film noir style music that's going to come into play. Are you surprised? Is it exciting for you to see a film when it's finished that you've
Oh,
come
sure.
in as just an actor?
For sure, especially if I've had nothing to do with post-production. Because even when they're getting the footage, you don't know, what angle they're coming,
Hmm.
know if they caught the expression. If you're really in the moment, you don't even know what your expressions are. So, yeah, it's quite exciting. It's all even though you're there, it all feels new because
Yeah.
the world from through your eyes, and then you're seeing it through the audience's eyes. That's a completely different perspective.
What was your reaction watching this for the first time?
I can't even remember. It was weird to see myself smoking a cigarette. I had some
Acting.
cigarette wranglers on stage, or not on stage, on set. They were telling me how to, like one of them was saying, make your hand look just kind of limp. Like, a non-smoker comes in and, tries to
It's
be
too forced. That would be me trying to look. I'm the cool kid. I wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah.
right. Um, and I do want to share a story about the interrogation scene. I
Sure.
probably can't tell you all the dialogue that went on behind the scenes. I don't know what kind
All
of
right.
leadership you have on the show, but
Just say
Chris,
bleep. Just say bleep and bloop, and we'll people can
okay,
figure it out.
Chris, the with the K, the
Hmm.
writer, actor, he's the actor interrogating me,
Yes.
and he he started improving. I had no idea this was coming, and he started telling my character all the things that were going to happen to her in prison. And his language was colorful, and I really wish I hadn't blown that take. It was it was so funny.
I guess, but it's unexpected, right? It's hard to. Improv's always a great tool, but sometimes when you don't know that it's happening, it ends up like just making everybody laugh. I've definitely been there on a set, and you're like, oh, that would have been great, but that surprise sometimes is just it's too much. It has the opposite effect of what you would want.
But I got him back this weekend because the director for the film we just shot told me he wanted me to improv, didn't want Chris to know I was going to improv.
So you have
So,
these regular collaborators. You've done some stuff prior to Ben, so you're working on projects now. How important is that in the indie film world to have regular collaborators?
well, for me as a filmmaker, you want to know that you can get what you need out of the people. And you want to,
Hmm.
mentioned earlier, you want to know they're reliable. You want to know they're going to show up to set. You want to know they're going to have a level of dedication. You want to know they're going to know their lines or a reasonable facsimile. So, and you want to know you have chemistry too. I mean, I don't think that Justin and I knew we had chemistry until we really got on set and started doing that stuff, even though we were friends before. So I think, I've held auditions. They're very time consuming. Um, and, for the indie filmmaker, we don't have a lot of time. And so when you call on people that you know can do the job, it just is so much easier. But
One of the things, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
sometimes you need somebody who, you know, you have a role that you don't know anybody who could fill that,
Hmm.
reach outside of your circle, which is good too.
Well, it can be a very cold process sometimes, and not because people are cold, but if you're called in as an actor, it's, you know, people outside the industry don't necessarily know. It's like you show up, you wait in the wings until they're ready, come in, everything's stressful, like the day's got to move, you do your lines, and you go home. You don't always get to have that camaraderie if you're not on a set for a long time, or necessarily one of the leads. So working with people you've worked with in the past, at least for me, is hugely beneficial, because everybody comes in, they already know each other's working style, they know the expectations of the set, they know the comfort levels that the director and the producer will set, and then it's sort of off to the races, and usually easier to just jump back in. I guess I've seen a sports game once, but I imagine it's like playing on a sports team where when everybody knows each other's strengths and weaknesses, they're able to just get in there and help each other collaborate to win that game, so to
Yeah,
speak. Whatever Stanley Cup, is that hockey? Canada, don't fire me. Um, I think that's a really interesting thing. One of the things I like watching films on Reveal and hosting the show is I see times where directors and producers have these guys have worked together, and then this actor and this person has worked here, here, and here, and it is fun to kind of see the growth of filmmakers. I used to study that, professionally. I'd watch the history of Steven Spielberg and kind of like watch the growth of the filmmaker, but I'm paying more attention to that, watching people in their short films, and here on the Reveal platform, many filmmakers have multiple films. It's just a really fun way to get a better insight of what somebody's creative journey has been. I think that's a lot of fun.
right. Absolutely is. And how the technology has evolved in just
Hmm.
years. I mean, I
Yeah,
feel
the
like,
fact that this is capable of making just about any Hollywood, really, this and a laptop, if you, that's all you need to be a filmmaker. And again, through Reveal, I'm constantly inspired to look at these amazing sci-fi films, or these crime dramas, or things that feel they're out of the budget range of independent filmmaking, but there's these creators finding the way to do it and not necessarily losing quality or losing any sort of appeal from the quote unquote Hollywood level of television and film. It's a really, really exciting time for filmmakers.
it is. And just, 5 years ago, I was submitting films to festivals on CD or
Oh
DVD.
boy, yes, yeah. I have one of those around somewhere. The only DVDs I own now are projects that I've worked on, or different like versions from different countries of some of my films. Other than that, I don't think I own a Blu-ray or DVD player anymore. I can't watch them. They're just
I
pretty
know.
things on the shelf collecting dust. But yeah, it is wild. And that's what, again, just even to think back, the history of streaming is only roughly ten years old. So the fact that we can sit and watch each other's short films on a platform like Reveal, it's just kind of magical, because it's going to continue to connect more filmmakers and more actors. And it's a revolution of independent cinema. Like if you didn't go to film festivals, if you couldn't travel, you didn't have that opportunity to meet these people. But now it's just right there in your face. There's no excuse to not be meeting more people and collaborating with them.
Right? And COVID also notched things over to the digital
Yep.
side.
Listen, streaming's the best thing in the world. When I watch Reveal, I don't have to drive to Blockbuster. I don't have to like risk getting COVID to watch all of these great films. But like, let's hope COVID's really about to be behind us. I feel like it is. Knock on wood. But that's it for today, because we like to keep these things short and sweet. But we could talk forever. So you're gonna have to get your short film Penis and other short films on the platform, because then we can bring members of your team back, have a longer discussion, and get to know more about your creative journey. So, Audrey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and thank you for what you're doing to promote independent film.
I love it. I just want to meet so many creators. It's my favorite part of this job, is just talking shop with other folks.